Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jordan Cameron back today with another video. Hope everyone is doing absolutely amazing out there today. Bitcoin, we just got still just chilling up here close to 104,000. Not much has really changed for Bitcoin. The altcoin market over here on Total 3 getting a little bit of a pullback today. Not too much crazy things going on over here in the markets besides, some altcoins being down 2, 3, 4, 5%. That's another day in crypto. But I don't want to talk too much about the short term today, and we never really talk too much about the short term today. What we're going to continue to talk about is our base case of crypto moving up to that 10 trillion point where everyone and their mother will think that crypto will change the world before we get the dot-com bubble 2.0, where then everyone will think crypto is a scam before then it goes into its real bull market. So let's jump on into the video today. So what we're going to talk about towards, as we get into the second half of this video, guys, today is we're going to take a look at some of our top indicators and, mainly what has kind of worked in this bull market and past bull markets to kind of at least look for local tops where it would make sense to take some profits and then kind of what would make sense for more major tops. We're going to take a look at the street, Fear and Greed Index. We're going to take a look at the Coinbase app ranking on the App Store. Which has been a very, very good indicator for tops in the past, in this bull market and in previous ones. All right, so let's jump on in. So for anyone that's new to the channel, I like to do a little bit of a sort of introduction of my base case and my theory of what's going to happen for this cryptocurrency market over the next 6 months. And basically, to sum it up in one sentence, is I think it's going to be the biggest blow off top in crypto history, followed by the biggest bubble pop in crypto history, where most altcoins go to zero. 99% of altcoins go to zero, and only the strong survive before we go into what I think is going to be the real crypto bull market later in this decade. Okay, now, why have we been thinking this despite all the bearish narratives, despite all the tariffs? Well, we've continued to discuss, once again, just to do a little bit update, is, as long as Bitcoin holds the 50 moving average band, which is the 50 simple moving average and the 50 exponential moving average, if I could speak today, like it's done over here in 2023, like it did over here in 2024, and like it did right here in 2025, right? Just as we did in the last 2 months down here, we were going to remain bulls as long as Bitcoin held weekly closes above that level. Okay, and that's sort of the base case of why we remain bullish. That's the main case of why we weren't going to flip into a bear at the lows like many were, thinking tariffs were bearish, thinking all this mumbo jumbo was bearish when Bitcoin was down at the 70Ks. A lot of people selling at the lows. We remain bullish and we added our positions there. Okay, if you've been following the channel throughout that time period of January, February, March, April, we remained very steadfast in saying that as long as Bitcoin held the 50 moving average band, we were looking for Bitcoin to come up and make new highs. And Bitcoin touched about 106,000. Its all-time high is 109,000. We are not too far off from that, and I think Bitcoin is going significantly higher. And that's going to be the first step of what's going to get this total market cap chart running to this 10 trillion point. But really, what I think is going to get that this market really pushing to that 10 trillion point. In order to get this market to the 10 trillion point, what we're really going to need is Ethereum and the altcoin market to really start moving. And, what I think is going to happen and what's happening, every single bull cycle that we had in the past is we've seen altcoins sort of run at the later stages of the bull market, right? And we have Bitcoin run, and then we have altcoins run towards the end of the bull. So what I think we're gearing up for is an altcoin move up to the 2.6 Fibonacci to 3.6 Fibonacci level, which is the 2.5 trillion to 3.35 trillion, which is what it did in the previous bull market, right? To the 2618 to the 3618 Fibonacci. So, and that getting to the 2.5 trillion and 3.35 trillion is what I think is going to really get this market up to that 10 trillion point, because Bitcoin going up is great, but I think in order to get the market up there, you're going to need everything else to run, especially ETH, because it is such a big component and such a big size of this market. And I do think a lot of the large caps, Ethereum, XRP, BNB, Tron, Doge, Chainlink are going to be some of the best gainers as we kind of go forward here, as I think some of the winners has kind of been chosen. So, but I'm kind of getting off topic. Why do we think that? Well, we've been coming over here on the stablecoin dominance chart, and people continue to laugh at this and continue to say this is sort of wuju magic. And guys, it's a range. It's simple TA. we're at the range highs. We're expecting a rejection back down to range lows. So as long as this chart right here has not reached range lows, I'm expecting cryptocurrency to go higher, okay? Unless we start seeing some of our top signals. And we're going to take a look at those coming up. But, as long as this is still just in the middle of the range as we speak, right, without even, Bitcoin getting close to all-time highs, I'm looking for this to get back down to the bottom of the range at the bare minimum, if not break into new lows. So until that happens, I still remain a bull, just like I still remain a bull as long as Bitcoin holds the 50 moving average band, okay? So that's that, right? That's our base case. Stablecoin dominance moving back down to the lows, getting everyone super euphoric. The inverse chart going up on total market cap before stablecoin dominance forms this giant Wyckoff accumulation, which is 1, 2, 3 hits to the low before this shoots up, right? Which causes the biggest bubble pop in crypto history, right? So that's sort of my base case, and I think this is going to blow a lot of people's minds, and a lot of people weren't even expecting a move off the lows down here when Bitcoin was at 70K because everyone was so caught with the tariffs. So now a lot of people are caught with their pants down. Bitcoin's not giving any pullbacks for people, and I think it's pissing a lot of people off. And I think this is going to be the cycle where people aren't going to believe in this move, and a lot of people are going to be waiting for pullbacks. Bitcoin's just going to keep shifting up, okay? It's not going to give people significant pullbacks, and people are going to get sucked in and believe that it's just going to go up forever when it gets to the highs. That's when your uncle's going to get in. That's when your cousin's going to get in. That's when your grandma's going to get in. But that's when us on this channel are going to be taking profits. We're not going to be getting euphoric as price moves up. We want to be euphoric when price is down. We want to be euphoric when everyone's scared, when everyone's fearful, right? As price starts to move up, we're going to get fearful. Us on this channel, we're going to get fearful. We're going to be taking money out of this market like never before. When you start seeing comments, because I'm going to tell you right now, guys, as this total market cap chart starts to break into new all-time highs over the next few weeks, because I do think it will, within the next few weeks, start to break into new all-time highs. As it does, I'm going to be screaming at the top of my lungs, I'm slowly taking money out of this market. And the comments are going to switch from me being bullish down here, calling me an idiot, to price getting up here, me taking profits, and then my comments are going to be, I'm an idiot for taking money out of the market, right? And that's how this game works. Do the opposite of what people are calling you an idiot about in the comments section, right? So as we kind of go along here, what's sort of the signals we're going to look at? We're going to look forward a little bit because there's not too much going on in the market today. There's not too much to add on our base case. We're just continuing to watch our base case, which is total market cap shooting up to the upside over the next few months, okay? Falling, creating this rising wedge before, which is obviously a bearish pattern. Okay, we have 3 hits on the top side of this wedge. We have 4 hits on the bottom side of this wedge, which makes it a valid pattern, right? As long as we have 3 hits on each side. I'm expecting 1 more hit on the top side before this breaks the downside. You guys know this on the channel already. But let's look at some of our top indicators, okay? Or some of our take profit indicators. Doesn't necessarily mean that the top is in. But some of the indicators that we're going to look at and use as confluence. So as total market cap continues to shoot up, obviously what we're going to be watching, a big one is the fear and greed index. So the fear and greed index to me isn't really like a cycle top indicator. What I like to use the fear and greed index for is more of a local top indicator, right? A really good indicator to be taking profits on altcoins. Bitcoin, you can kind of get away with not selling too much when you're in extreme greed. You might still want to take profits on Bitcoin when it's an extreme greed, but it really is a great altcoin take profit indicator. Okay. And when this gets into extreme greed, you guys can see that we're almost pushing up into it now. But honestly, I think we could stay, in this fear region for a little bit, even if Bitcoin pushes up a little bit higher. But nevertheless, as this pushes into extreme greed, if you just kind of look at some of the local highs over here on at least Bitcoin, they perfectly matched up, right? This local high right here was perfectly when Bitcoin or the crypto fear and greed index was in extreme greed, right? We kind of laugh at it every time and say it's not going to work, but that was a great time to be taking profits, especially on altcoins, right? We go back over here in December, right? November, December period, we kind of marked this area off here. all right, or even this whole area here. Bitcoin didn't go significantly higher, December to January, and that's kind of when altcoins topped, kind of in that December period. And you'll notice is we didn't really go much higher than that November point, which was the top of that extreme greed period. And the second time we hit extreme greed in January, that was actually the local top. They're at 110,000. So what I want to make this point is, it's not necessarily a top indicator for Bitcoin, because I do just want to add that times in the past we have stayed in extreme greed for extended periods of time, like over here in 2020. And if it's a really euphoric market, we can stay in extreme greed for an extended period of time. But I think it's more of making sure that we're locking in some gains when you get into that extreme greed period. So as total market cap shoots up and as people start to get more euphoric, I will be stressing that it's time to probably take some profits. If you're in some profits on some of your coins, not necessarily selling the whole bag, but definitely securing some gains. The other one is, and this is more of my cycle top indicator. There is some other ones that we'll probably touch on as the cycle progresses, like the Pi cycle top indicator, but we're so far from that, I don't think it's worth talking about at the moment. This is, if I can actually just move this over for you guys real quick. There we go. This is actually our crypto apps ranking on the App Store in the US. This is the App Store, right? The Apple App Store. And the main one I look at here is the Coinbase app ranking on the App Store. Okay, it has been a great indicator for really cycle tops. Okay, 2017, you can see the Coinbase app, I think, got all the way to number 1 in 2017. This is really hard to pinpoint. Sorry, guys, but trust me when I say it's hard to pinpoint the exact day here, but it did hit number 1 on the App Store over here in 2017, and that was the cycle top in 2017. It also did over here in May of 2021, also did hit number 1 on the App Store in May of 2021, and that was obviously that was a cycle top, right? And then in November 2021, sorry, like I said, guys, it's really hard. You can see right there. October 29th, 2021, Coinbase number 1. That's the only one I could actually get on there. You guys can see it right there. If we go back to October 29th of sort of 2021, let's see, October 29th of 2021, that was this candle right here. Okay, so pretty much you're locking in at the exact highs when Coinbase hits that number 1 app on the App Store. So what we're kind of looking forward to, if we kind of zoom in now as far as a cycle top indicator, if we look at our current cycle, let's go to the last 12 months, we have not reached that number 1 spot yet. I think the highest we've gotten Coinbase is number 9, and that was back in sort of November 14th of 2024. It's also a really good short-term indicator. November 14th of 2024 was this candle right here, right? So not the exact highs, but pretty freaking close. That's really when the big impulses stopped. But great place to be taking profits, at least in the short term. So what we're going to kind of be watching for is, you guys can see the Coinbase app right now is at 235, right? So we got plenty of room to run on this indicator. And this is what gets me really, really bullish going forward. And just keep in mind, this can move up really, really fast. Just to put an example, guys, back over here in November 4th of 2024, it was at 484, and it shot all the way up to like we said, number 9 in the span of, literally in the span of 2 weeks, right? So from this candle to this candle, this move right there, it went from 400 something to 9. So this can move up really, really fast. But what I'm going to be watching here for is Coinbase getting into that top 10. Coinbase gets into that top 10, great time to be taking profits, especially on altcoins. Coinbase gets that number 1 spot, historically cycle top, okay? So we have a couple things we can look at towards taking profits, cycle tops. We'll talk about more of these as the cycle progresses, like especially the pi cycle top indicator, which we'll talk about in a future video. Still very, very far from away from that, so I don't think it's, like I said, worth talking about right now. But right now, guys, everything's going according to plan. Bitcoin just chilling at 104,000. If we just want to zoom in for 1 second, it just looks like it wants to go higher, man. It's just consolidating. Looks almost exactly like this consolidation where it looks like it just wants to push higher again. Like I said, altcoins did get a little bit of a push down today. Not too surprised. We haven't really seen Bitcoin break into price discovery yet. So really not getting, too many of the altcoins getting major impulses just yet. But I do think that is going to come as Bitcoin impulses out of here. But everything going according to plan, guys. Bitcoin close to all-time highs. Total market cap shifting up, right, at 3.26 trillion, about a third of the way there to 10 trillion. I think we're right on track, and a lot of fun times are ahead. There's already been kind of a fun last few weeks, but a lot of fun times are ahead here for the crypto market before I think not a lot of fun times are coming for the crypto market. So let's have fun while we can, and then let's continue to stay vigilant in this market as we kind of go forward here. All right, so appreciate you guys stopping in. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you smack that subscribe button, man. We got 1.2K subs in the last video, man. You guys are showing unbelievable support. Thank you guys so much. If you haven't subscribed yet, which, I think only 10% of you guys who watched the video are subscribed, make sure you smack that subscribe button. We're going to get to 100K this year. Appreciate the support, guys. Hit the like if you want to be my friend. If you don't want to be my friend, that's okay. But I'll catch you guys in the next video. Hopefully, we got a little bit more impulses to talk about in the next video, guys. All right. Much love. It's been your boy, Jordan Cameron. Until the next one.